Hi guys, welcome to my channel and to my journey in beauty. Today's video is the first episode in a new series called Panning for Dummies. Now please don't be offended when I call this series Panning for Dummies. I did fill out quite a few friends on Instagram about the title. I just thought it would be fun. I'm actually a big fan of the For Dummies books, just because it does dumb down some things that can be hard to learn or hard to find information about. And when I started my channel a year ago, coming up really soon, and I started to feel like I wanted to project pan, I didn't have any idea what I was doing. My sister and I, we created a year-long project pan, and we were under the impression that we needed to finish, as in pan, every single item. There was no knowledge of, hitting pan or making progress or using half or using the side bit or hitting side pan, and all of this sort of panning vocabulary that I didn't know about. And so I just wanted to share with you guys through this little series things that I have learned through my first year of project panning. As always, I really hope that you guys will chime in for all of us down in the comments if you have additional information. Like I said, this has just been my experience, so I would love for you to share about your experience down in the comments. So today we're going to be talking about picking a project as well as picking the products. I know the glasses and the glare is real, but I have a ton of notes so that I make sure I cover everything and give you examples on everything. Plus, I think they make me look smart, like not a dummy. So let's go ahead and get into it. First and foremost, there are a couple of ways that you can go about picking a project. First of all, in all of these videos, I'm going to have linked in the description box below the Fantastic Ladies collab group on Facebook. This is an open group. You just have to answer a few questions so that they know you're not a robot, and then you can join the group. And in the group, they do post a ton, like a literal ton of different kinds of projects with themes, projects with specific goals, etc. And that is a really good resource in terms of finding a project to join. They do have them up quite early on the page so that you can plan ahead, but also know that you can just create your own damn project, which is what my sister and I did. If you're dead set on panning 3 particular products, just make a project pan with those 3 products. The other way that you can find a panning project is through Instagram. There are a ton of fabulous ladies over on Instagram who just project pan on Instagram. So those are some options for you when thinking about picking a project. Before you start looking for a project, my advice to you would be to make a list of products that you would like to and or need to pan for whatever reason. They're the oldest product in your collection, they're almost gone anyways, you want to move it out, and so on and so forth. So next you're going to look at projects, whether it's through the Fantastic Ladies, another panning group on Facebook or Instagram, or you're just making it up along the way. The next step is to pick a project that fits you, your collection, and your goals. My first example is maybe don't pick a project polish, which is a project completely dedicated to panning nail polish, if you only paint your nails once a month. You're not gonna see any progress on a project polish if you only paint your nails once a month, and therefore you're not going to be successful and ultimately may find yourself frustrated with project panning altogether. My next suggestion is to think about the length of the project before you join. Let's say you only wear makeup twice a week and you find yourself wanting to join a 3-month project plan. So if you wear makeup twice a week, that's 8 applications in a month and 24 applications for the 3-month project. Now let's say you have a blush in this project. This is not a good choice because you're not going to see barely a dent in a blush with 24 applications. I've learned this over my year of panning. For example, I am panning the NARS Orgasm Blush. I have been panning this all year. Now granted, I haven't been using it every day because it's not my favorite blush, but you can see, I guarantee you I've used that blush at least 50 times this year, and 24 is essentially half of 50, and so you would barely see a dent in your blush by the end of a 3-month project, if that makes sense. My next suggestion for helping you to pick a project is to think about the numbers in categories where you might feel like you need to lower your numbers. For example, if you have 20 primers, maybe don't join an eyeshadow project pan because that's not going towards your end goal in panning. End goal might be to lower your numbers in primers. So maybe join a project that allows for you to put 1 or 2 primers in the project at a time and start lowering your numbers in that category. Overall, I think a lot of people project pan for reasons like that they want to lower their numbers in specific categories, and therefore, they're looking for projects where they can incorporate those types of products. For example, if you have a crap ton of eyeshadow palettes like I do, maybe join a palette project. Or if it's not a specific palette project, maybe consider picking one palette and putting one eyeshadow from that palette in a project at a time, and work on hitting pan or finishing it or whatever your goal might be, and just slowly start working towards your panning goals. So, keeping in mind this list that we've created when talking about picking a project while we're talking about picking our products. All of these tips we're going to measure against our list of products that we hope to pan. Number 1, we're going to consider our makeup usage habits against our list of products. For example, where do you insist on having variety in your makeup routine? Can you wear the same blush for 50 days or 60 or 90 days straight? If so, that's probably a really good product to put in a project for you. Next, what types of products do you use up the fastest? Is it skincare or base products like foundations, lip glosses, concealers, pressed powders? For example, right now I only have 3 foundations, and so I'm going through this Physicians Formula, the Healthy Foundation, relatively quickly because I'm not rotating through so many products in my collection. So this might be a good product to go ahead and put in a project pan and knock it out of my collection if that was my goal, to lower my foundation numbers, so to speak. And then the last tip for this one is consider what type of products you use every single day. This kind of goes back to talking about this foundation or your daily concealer or pressed powder. My girl Angela, I love her to death, but she blows through pressed powder like nobody's business, and so that would be a good option for her to put in a project. Whereas me, I have been panning the number 7 pressed powder all year long, and I still haven't finished it. I'm getting close because it's been repressed, but so for that example, Angela could put a pressed powder into a project and be very successful, whereas I would not be very successful with putting a pressed powder in a project. Say that 5 times fast. My next tip is to choose products with progress, and especially products with progress that are appropriate for the time span of the project. For example, if you have a 3-month project, maybe put something like my number 7 pressed powder, which is almost gone, into that short project. Give myself a push to finish it up and move it out of my collection. On that same vein, if I have a shorter project, I might choose to pan an eyeshadow like this shade called Bisque in my Pan That palette for 2018 because I already have a good amount of pan on it, and it was an easy shadow for me to hit pan on because I can use it to set my primer when I choose to do so. So again, this kind of goes back to my example of blush. If you're doing a 3-month project, maybe don't put a brand new blush in there unless you bathe in your blush. And again, kind of in the same vein, when picking products for a project, consider the size or the amount of product in the product. Good grief. And then think about it in terms of the length of the project. For example, I put in my 12 Pans of Christmas this Hoola bronzer. I thought for sure I would either use it up or easily hit pan on it in the duration of the project, which I believe was about 3 months. It's ending very soon, within a matter of days. And I have barely worn the embossing off of this. Now, I have changed my goal since then that I would like to hit side pan on this back part of the pan right here, but I literally have been wearing this every single day for almost 3 months and I haven't hit pan on it yet. So if that gives you an idea, this is a teeny tiny little mini bronzer, and I love bronzer. Like, I bronze every single day. It's something I really love to do in my makeup routine. So consider the amount of product. Keep in mind, like, this is a mini, and even in a 3-month project, I have yet to hit pan. So just keep that in mind when putting products into a project. Another good example is I would not put the Shark tape in a 3-month project. There is a mass quantity of product in here. This product has 0.3381 fluid ounces, so pretty, about 1/3 of an ounce. Most foundations are a full fluid ounce, so you're talking about this is 1/3 of this. Therefore, if this is brand new or even close to brand new, probably don't put this in a 3-month project and expect to finish it up. One of the other ways that I choose the products that I put into a project is I think about the expiration date or the shelf life of the makeup currently in my collection. Let's say I really want to lower my number of primers this year, which is actually true for 2019. I will be working through some of my primers. Here is my little dish that I have most of my primers in. There's a few foundations in here as well. But when thinking about which primer to pan, I like to think which of these is my oldest primer. For me, it's the NYX Shine Killer because I really have determined that I don't like matte primers as much. Not even that I don't like them, I just find that I don't use them or have a need to use them as much as I thought I would at the beginning of my journey in beauty, before I had a handle on my skin and I was very much comboed to oily, mostly on the oily side. So this might be a primer that I would consider panning simply because this has a 6-month shelf life. So according to this, this is already expired, and this is the oldest primer in my collection. Therefore, you might expect to see this in a project real soon. Next, I suggest maybe consider panning a product of which you have duplicates. This is a little bit different than a product that you have an excess of. For example, I have an excess of primers. This is more like if you have 3 peachy nude lipsticks that are essentially the exact same color, maybe pan one of those and move it out of your collection to reduce the duplicates within your collection. I don't know about you, but I feel like I only need one peachy nude lipstick. Or maybe for you, it's that you only need one red lipstick, but you have acquired or inherited several red lipsticks over the past year or so, and you'd like to get your numbers down. That's a great way to pick a project for panning. My last do for picking a product for panning is do try to put a gimme or sample or mini product in every project that you can. For me, this is just that little extra boost that I need in each project to continue striving for progress. We all need a little encouragement sometimes, and especially when it comes to project panning. When you're using the same products over and over and over again, it can be a little disheartening when we're not seeing progress over a length of time. That's why I like to put a little something something, like maybe put in a little sample mascara, or mascara primer is what this is, or here's this little teeny tiny hourglass highlighting stick, which literally has this much product in it. Whatever your jam is, whatever fits your collection, if you have a mini or a gimme or a sample product, I recommend putting one in each project that you can. And next, I just have 2 don'ts when it comes to picking products for a project pan. First of all, I don't particularly love to put things in project pans that I don't like, or even worse, that I hate. Or even beyond that, it doesn't work for me. It's not the right shade, it's not right for my skin type, etc. However, if you insist on putting things that you don't like into a project pan because you want to move them out and not let them go to waste, try and only put 1 or maybe 2, and if it's a larger project, maybe only put 1 or 2 at max products in a specific project pan that you don't like. And then, you know, that will kind of balance out your project. If you start a project, let's say you have to pick 5 items and all 5 items you hate, I can guarantee that your project will have very, very little progress, and or that you will be turned off from project panning forever. It's no fun to pan the things that we don't like, and sometimes we feel inclined to do so, and I think that's totally fine, but I just am suggesting striking a balance between how many products that you have in a pan that you like to use and that you don't like to use. I'm going to give you an example of this. I wish I had an example for my NARS Orgasm Blush. You guys know, well, maybe some of you know if you've been around, that blush has been the bane of my existence this year. But a really good example of this concept is I'm currently panning my NARS Orgasm lipstick in my Grey's Anatomy project pan. This is a product I don't particularly like. I don't think it's overly flattering on my skin. This is a sheer formula. It's a coral pinky base with a gold shift. In general, I don't prefer gold products of any kind on my skin tone, especially a bold, like true gold, yellow gold color. So this I put into a project. However, I did put another product into another project that is going to help me use this product that I don't like. This lip liner, while I originally didn't think I liked it, and that's why I put it in a project, I actually really like this formula, and more than that, I like the color. So, I don't know that you necessarily need a visual of this, but one of the reasons I don't care for this is that it is a sheer formula and I prefer a bolder lip. So here's the NARS by itself, and here's the lip liner by itself. Putting the NARS over the lip liner here, and you can see, I think that's really pretty. This is a result of pairing these products together that I can live with and make progress on both of these products. So my point here is to consider, if you're putting a product into a pan project that you don't like, maybe consider putting in a product that you do like that can help you reach your goal on the product that you don't like. And we'll definitely talk more about this in the future, but I just want you to get thinking about how to pick your products and really, really strongly consider not putting in a bunch of things that you dislike into a project. And then my last tip for a don't in picking products is seriously consider not duplicating categories within your projects. If you have multiple projects going on, or even if you don't, I don't think anybody would probably choose to put 4 bronzers into one project, but also you probably don't want to put 4 bronzers in various projects. Going back to the Hoola bronzer, I've been using this literally every single day for 3 months. I still have no pan on it, I have no side pan. I've barely worn off the embossing where it said Hoola on here. So if I had more than one bronzer in more than one project, that's just basically splitting up the progress on the 2 products. There are ways to do this, and we will again talk about this in the future. This is a very long introductory video already, but again, just try not to duplicate products within various projects if you're doing multiple. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little tips and tricks for picking a project and picking a product. I hope you're not offended by Panning for Dummies as a title for this series. Like I said, I just kind of want to dumb down the information that I had to learn kind of the hard way through my very first year of project panning. As always, I would love for you to share any additional tips or tricks on this topic down in the comments with us. There's not one person in the panning community that couldn't stand to learn a new thing. Whether you're new to panning or have been panning for a long time, we all can stand to learn new things from one another, and I really appreciate your comments in the comment section. And I hope all of your makeup days are beautiful project panning makeup days, and I'll see you in my next video soon. Bye!